we've been doing this for like 2 hours now after a week off from each other, and I don't know whether I missed this or whether I'm mad we're doing this again, but
I still miss this.
yeah, I miss it too. Who am I kidding? We just argued for like 10 minutes not recording before clicking record to now talk about Illinois. Transfer portal era is wild. That's my biggest thing I want to intro this with, Cart, is like you and I just spent 10 minutes arguing about uh Chris Ledlam, who is another potential Big Ten transfer, and whether or not we like his game. And like, there's just like 1,000 dudes like this that are everywhere in the sport, right? Like the entire sport just wants to spin on its head and spit out new rosters. It feels like a simulation. And there's no program that's more comfortable in this chaos than Illinois. Brad Underwood has established that even before this popped off as the hottest thing on the block, that he's an attrition guy. He is okay with guys leaving. He is okay with guys coming in, and he's going to recruit the best in the country. So far, Illinois has two entrances to their transfer class. Marcus Domask from Southern Illinois. I hope I'm saying that right. And Justin Harmon, who played at Utah Valley for 2 years. He's a guard. Domask more of a wing. And then they also have some departures. Jaden Epps is out. RJ Melendez is out. Even the players that are back for Illinois have had to make it very clear publicly that they're returning to school. I laughed pretty hard when Sincere Harris had to announce his return for his sophomore season at Illinois. So what do you make of Illinois in general right now? More than like any in particular, in specific ad or departure for them right now, what do you make of the state of Illinois' transfer heavy program?
I think it's a interesting situation because it's some situations where you're like, okay, like that guy needs to transfer. Like you look at certain situations where it's just like you have like the Adam Miller thing, you have the Corbello thing, like those are very isolated situations, like probably best for both parties if they leave. Coming into this summer, I was kind of all in on the idea of that, okay, last season Illinois brought in some transfers, really didn't translate to like the success that they probably wanted to. Go all in on just keeping the core together of like Ty Rogers, Sincere Harris, Danger, and I guess Epps in the situation. I thought it would be Scott Clark before that whole situation unfolded, but go all in on just keeping those guys and then add in pieces, add in transfers to that. To me, yes, attrition is needed, but I think it needs to be more of a balance. I think you need to like have some attrition, but you should also have a core. Now, they still might have a core. Like, I consider Ty Rogers, I guess Sincere Harris, and Dane Danger to be like, I guess, call that the core of guys. Don't know if that's enough guys to be the core, but I think it needs to be more of a situation where it's not as much attrition, and if you add guys to that core that you have. Speaking to the guys that they've added so far, knowing Illinois, knowing Coach Underwood, probably not done. They're probably just getting started. They still have decisions that need to be made too by other guys like Hawkins and Shannon, whether they can come back or what they're doing. It's looking like they're both going to leave from what I've been hearing, but who really knows on that? I don't
That's
know.
that's the opposite of what I've heard.
Oh, really? Inform me, please.
What I have heard, and you and I are in similar circles, so I don't know, maybe we're just talking to the wrong people in the same circle right now. But
Mhm.
what I have heard is that it's heavily expected Terrence Shannon is going to return. They're firing the NIL bags at him, and
Nice.
he may not even declare for the draft. It may just be a I'm back. Coleman Hawkins is in the draft, but it's also heavily expected that he will return, and they are putting a full court press on both of them.
Shout out to the ILLINI NIL fund that's really been cooking.
ILL, NIL. Can we do
Okay,
that?
that's heat. If someone steals
That's
that,
kind of
I'll be
solid.
pissed. That's
Kind of
heat.
solid.
But speaking on the two guys that they'll be adding, the Utah Valley guy, I'll be honest with you, have not watched much of his game. I only watched a handful of Utah Valley games this year, and I came away being impressed by Woodbury. That was the only guy that really struck me as a guy that I'm impressed by. So I really don't know much about Harmon. What I have seen of why is his name slipping my mind right now?
Domask.
Domask. A guy that can't check anybody. I think he's food defensively, but I think he's very versatile offensively. I just don't know how that ad really fits into the situation that they're bringing back, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they weren't bringing back Shannon, maybe adding a guy like that can do a little bit of everything would be good. But this is a team that needs a point guard. I like Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, who's coming in next year, but you're gonna, we seen how the Illinois team works when you kind of get the true freshman point guard into the fold. It hasn't necessarily worked out. So I don't know if I really see the vision right now. And I don't know if I see the path.
If I gave you plus 200 odds right now that Dre Gibbs Lawhorn transfers out of Illinois at some point, would you sprinkle a future bet on that?
No.
Okay.
I think Gibbs Lawhorn is going to give me absolute hell for 3 to 4 years in the Big Ten.
If he's that good, he won't be there 3 to 4 years. But I like Gibbs Lawhorn a lot. I think he's going to be very good for Illinois. I just also think there have been very good guards at Illinois that have left for various reasons. To your point, Curbelo and Miller, very singular, unique situations. I think you could put Sky Clark in that bucket too, of like probably a good thing for both sides. And then, hey, 2 years down the line, look who's back in the portal. Curbelo and Adam Miller are. We got to see how Sky Clark's career at Louisville ends up shaking out. And I really like Sky Clark, but Epps is not that though. Like I want to make a pretty clear distinction that I think what has happened with Jaden Epps this season feels different than any of these other transfers out of Illinois. And you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. Illinois fans can yell at me. I already have gotten pushback from our last episode that we did on this. People were unhappy with how we talked about what Brad's plan is in regards to getting guys out and getting guys in. But what I've been told happened with Jaden Epps is that at the end of the season, Jaden Epps asked for a certain number with NIL that he heard that some of his teammates were getting, and he was flat out told no. And that then the conversation progressed from there to, okay, well then what's my role? And the staff told him, we don't plan on you being a starter. Like there is no guarantee here. We're going to go get a starting point guard in the portal. And then Jaden Epps said, okay, I'm in the portal. And I don't think this was just like a Jayden, you need to leave the program. But I think when Jayden said, okay, I'm going to consider transferring, I think they opened both doors for him and rolled out the red carpet. And I think they're trying to get Tiger Campbell. And I think Illinois fans might think, oh, because Jaden Epps left, now we're trying to get Tiger Campbell. No, the plan was to get Tiger Campbell before Jaden Epps had a conversation.
I'm also in on that decision too, by the way.
Yeah, if that's what ends up happening, like, of course we're in on that decision. Jaden Epps, or Tiger Campbell and Terrence Shannon and whoever else is around is a very, very good team. But like, let's just be honest that like that's what we heard is happening. And if that is what happened, then I don't know how else you can point at this and say like Brad's plan is clearly I'm going to get starter level players in the portal, and that's going to screw over a lot of my younger guys, and that's fine. Like if that's a hashtag for competitors only mantra, like that's the program that would take that, right? But my problem with this cart, and I think it's the cycle that is weighing on Illinois now and has led to these ads of Harmon and Domask so far, is there's like different tiers to the Illinois roster. Tier 1 is their stars, right? Coleman and Terrence Shannon would fall into that category. Right now, we assume those guys are back. Tier 2 is like guys you want to build and grow that don't necessarily have to be stars, but you would hope at least one of them becomes like a starter someday and is a core foundation of your culture. So there's not so much adversity and turnover, right? To me, Jaden Epps was a critical part of that. Sincere Harris was part of it. Dane Danger to an extent is part of it, but Ty Rodgers is part of it. RJ Melendez was part of it. Luke Goody is part of it. Like that's a core of talented dudes that whether or not they've turned into like all conference types have useful roles in a Big Ten rotation and played them on a good team this last year. And I feel like right now Brad has really deprioritized that group to an extent to just say, I'm going to go get starters, because by default, if your approach is, I want a starter from the portal at every position, that screws those guys over, like it or not. Like if Michigan went to the portal this year and was like, we need a point guard, but we still want Doug McDaniel here, Doug would just leave and be like, screw you. Or like, we want a starting center, but we still want Terrace Reed here. Like Terrace would be like, screw that. I'm in the portal. Like You can't have both. You have to pick. Am I going to do the all portal or am I going to pick my spots where I trust my guys? And this is the first instance I feel like we've seen of Illinois where like they very clearly said, no, we'll get a starter from the portal over 3 more years of Jaden Epps. I think that's a mistake. And give him credit. Like I thought Sincere Harris would hit the portal. He didn't. That's a good get that you got to bring back. Like I don't think RJ Melendez is the biggest loss. I think he underperformed a lot at Illinois. But I think Illinois needs to find a mix because if you look at the guys they're adding this year, Cart, the difference, this isn't Terrence Shannon and Matthew Meyer. This is Marcus Domask and Justin Harmon. Those guys are not impact Big Ten players. I'm sorry. Like, Domask might be like a top 5 player on this Illinois team. That's a class that Michigan adds most off seasons. And it doesn't work. And it takes 3 months for those guys to get their ball rolling. Like, if the plan is for those guys to be impact guys, I don't think it's going to work. And 2, if the plan is for those guys to be rotation bench guys, why'd you get rid of some dudes? Like, make RJ Melendez and Jaden Epps happy. I'd much rather have those 2 than these 2.
I think Domask is better than RJ Melendez.
Maybe. I mean, we're talking what, 1 year of Domask?
Yeah, it for me, it's like, yeah, you could have 3 more years of Jaden Epps, but like, one, does Jaden Epps want to even be there? Like, I don't know. I've gone back and forth on where I'm at on Jaden Epps. In all honesty, like, yes, I think he's a good player, but I think a lot of what led to the Jaden Epps kind of dynamic was the fact that they were just comparing him to Sky Clark, and then they just were like, oh, like Jayden is not Sky Clark, so he's our savior. Like, there's a lot better players out there to me than Jaden Epps. Like, Drake Gibbs Lawhorn is better than Jaden Epps, and maybe Jaden Epps didn't want to hear that, but like, he is.
Drake Gibbs Lawhorn and Jaden Epps together terrifies me.
I don't think so, because I think you need a table setter. I don't think Jaden Epps is a table setter. I don't think Gibbs Lawhorn is too. I think he's a scoring guard. At least from what I've seen, he might be more of a passer than we give him credit for, but I think he's a scorer.
Yeah. I mean, look, if they get Tiger Campbell, then who cares? None of this matters. Or if you get a Tiger Campbell level dude. But like,
or even, you know what, give me, yeah. That's what I'm saying. But I do agree with you on the point that I think that there could be like a better strategy as far as like, maybe I go all in on like Ty Rodgers being my 3, and I get a guy that can back up Ty Rodgers, that if Ty is not what he is, I have a backup plan instead of going just for like let's just get a starter and see what happens and hope those guys stay.
I just think you need a balance because, like, I guess I'm trying to think of an example here.
But also, like, what is a balance truly? Like,
well, like
in this era, like, I don't mean to sound like the old guy. Like, what is there a balance?
If Domask starts at the 4 and plays 30 minutes, and Ty Rodgers plays 12.
Will Domask start the 4?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what to make of this roster right now. I think it's
maybe they go Coleman. They need to just go Coleman Dane.
See, I think Coleman's better being like a floor stretching 5, to be honest. But I want Dane on the floor. So
yeah, but also Coleman doesn't want to be a floor stretching 5.
I just think this is a really weird roster as currently constructed. Like, it's gonna depend on another ad for me. Like, Terrence Shannon is a no-brainer, awesome player. Coleman Hawkins, obviously he's a starter, and there's going to be highs and lows. Dane Danger is a very productive offensive player that's going to have limitations elsewhere. Beyond that, like, everything's a question mark. Everything. Like, we think we like Gibbs Lawhorn. Who honestly, who knows? If Domask is either going to be an all-conference guy or totally in over his head. I have no idea. Like, trust me, I have seen dudes come up from that level that need 3 months just to not piss themselves. So, like, I like him on paper.
That's fine. Take 3 months.
I don't
get it together. Get it together. Come March.
I think Justin Harmon is not a factor at all. I'll say that though. Maybe I'm not giving Domask enough credit, but man, Justin Harmon has had more turnovers than assists both years at Utah Valley. He's not really a shooter. Like, the attempts aren't there and the percentages aren't there. I really don't see that one. Like, is he like a 10 minutes off the bench guy? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's still guys out there that is one thing, but that's not like if that's your prize of the portal, yikes. But it's early. And
I don't.
Domask is already a better ad than Harmon is. I honestly don't really get the Harmon ad. I guess an older, like you said, if it's an older guy, it's gonna be just backup and you can just put him out there. And I think he might be a Chicago kid as well. So that kind of factors in. But
He is a Chicago kid.
okay,
Is he just what David Jenkins was for Purdue, but for Illinois?
probably, yeah, but he doesn't do what David Jenkins does.
Right. I think he's a way worse player than David Jenkins. So like, I don't know. I don't mean to be too disrespectful. I just don't like there's not a moment ever that I want to see Justin Harmon on the floor over like Sincere Harris next year or Gibbs Lawhorn. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Weird times. But in general, like obviously we got to give it more time. I would assume Illinois adds probably 2 more transfers at this point, but not the first 2 I would have expected. Like I just assumed they were going to get a Terrence Shannon and Matthew Meyer every single year. Like they're going to be on A-listers. Right now, this class is like a C-lister and a D- lister for me.
I want Max Asmus and
On
Shannon.
Illinois, like if you would have told me on paper cart the day the season ended, Caleb Love and Damari Burnett went to one team and Justin Harmon and Marcus Domask went to another team, I would have bet my entire future child's savings fund that it was 1 to Michigan and 1 to Illinois, and not the one that we got. It's crazy. Daddy Brad, man, he always keeps you guessing. Can we talk about quickly? We had a run-in with Daddy Brad in Houston.
We did, and he appreciated you.
He did. I told him, I got to confess to him, I'm the person who conceived the Daddy Brad concept. And he was actually very kind about it and laughed. And then he said, thank you, which was crazy. And then I I explained why, like what it meant. And I was like, the question I asked him straight up, you can find the clip on Field of 68. How does it feel to know you own me? Like you own Michigan, you own my families. How does it feel? And he like took a second, leaned back, laughed, and then like collected himself and was like, well, Michigan's a great program. Juwan's a great coach. Hunter's a great player. But yeah, I think you said it.
But yeah. I mean, but yeah, we do.
It was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie, and it also hurt very bad. And then 24 hours later, Hunter Dickinson hit the portal. So, what can you do?
Right now, where does Illinois finish in the Big Ten next year?
Oof. Sixth.
Yeah, I'm between 5-4.
I'm taking Purdue. I'm taking Michigan State. Not in that order, by the way. I'm taking.
Are you taking Indiana?
No. I'm taking Rutgers. I'm taking.
Who the fuck does Rutgers have?
Taking Wisconsin. I'm taking. They might be 5 instead of 6. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Oh, I'm taking Northwestern. Sorry, Chicago's Big Ten team.
Ooh, and Audi's back?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the 5.
Okay. I don't know about I don't
I don't like
if you give me a starting lineup of let's say Lawhorn, Sincere Harris,
Shannon, Domask, Danger, Hawkins. Like is Hawkins back?
Shannon, Domask, Hawkins. That's a top 5 team in the Big Ten.
That's 6. That feels like 6 to me.
Okay.
I mean, where'd they finish this year?
7th.
So they finished 7th last year. No, 5th. They finished 5th in the Big Ten last year, 11-9, but right in that big group with all the other average, mediocre teams. Like they objectively, I think last year's team is going to be better than next year's Illinois team. That's how I feel. And I think the Big Ten gets better. while they get worse.
I really hope the Big Ten does get better.
Does get better or doesn't get better?
Hope it does.
Oh, it's going to be better because of your program. You're here to save the day. We're waving a little green and white flag.
You're not holding up your end of the deal. It's supposed to be both Michigan teams that carry this conference.
Michigan might be better than you think.
Oh God, we have been recording too long. If that's where we reached.
Where's Michigan on your list next year? If Illinois is 5th for you and 6th for me, where's Michigan?
Somewhere in the double digits.
Oh, that's crazy. Minnesota still exists. Nebraska still exists. Penn State's going to be worse than both of them next year.
Penn State will be better than Michigan next year.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
Dog, their roster right now is Ace Baldwin and no one.
It's better than your roster.
No, it's not. Caleb Love's better than Ace Baldwin, and I hate Caleb Love.
Okay, you're right. That might have been a little bit aggressive. Sorry about that. But you guys will be bad.
No, I'm actually looking at the Big Ten now. I missed 2 teams I would put over Illinois. Ohio State's going to be nasty.
Yes.
Maryland brings everybody back, essentially.
Do they?
Yeah, and they might get Hunter.
I thought like Hakeem Hart is like
awesome. Hakeem Hart's in the portal, but Hakeem Hart kind of stinks. But Dante Scott's back and Jameer Young's back.
Ooh.
And Julian Reese.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a team.
Okay. I like that.
So upon further review, Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, Wisconsin, Ohio State. I'll give Illinois 7, and Rutgers just behind them 8th.
Okay. I'm taking Illinois over Wisconsin, and I'm taking them. Oh, okay, over 6.
Wisconsin's gonna be kind of good though.
I'm good.
You know, and on Gus Yalden.
I'm all in on Gus Yalden. I need Gus Yalden to hit the portal immediately.
They got everybody back, dog, except Chucky. Chucky might leave, but
Chucky's one of the best players.
I know, but addition by subtraction, they got everybody else back. Essesian, year 2?
That's who really needs the portal.
We take him. I'll tamper. You tell me. I'll
Connor,
tamper.
if you're hearing this.
All right. Illinois fans, stay tuned. Lots of off-season content. I wonder if Illinois fans are pissed that like the portal used to be their thing and now it's everyone's thing. But who knows? Not everybody can get Marcus Domask. So good luck. Can't wait to talk about you more next week.